can you just say that it's not based on what you've seen on the show?
It is based on what I've seen from Karla.
It's just like, no, it's Kale's delusion. It's Kale's inner monologue.
Why is the jury laughing?
Zero chance of winning the game.
Supposed to talk glamour to you.
My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer.
Lee, is there any way I could have your jacket?
This is my island.
Welcome back to Survivor Breakfast. Boys, we're talking Survivor 43, episode 3 here. We had a really phenomenal episode tonight. Can't wait to get into it with you boys. I'm gonna throw it to you guys just first. What were your thoughts overall on the episode tonight? I know we lost NECA, unfortunately, but let me know your initial thoughts here.
I love this episode. I sent you guys a text probably at the 20-minute mark of the episode, and we'll dive into each of these little pieces that, at least put the first 80% of it into a category that was like, a good mixture of old school Survivor, what makes Survivor as a show, as a competition in its way, the most unique thing that there ever is. And I have so many different angles to why this episode, even the ending, wasn't something of any spectacular notion or anything like that. But there was a lot of little intricacies here that was just fantastic and pure Survivor, and why I hope this show goes for another 10, 20 years.
Yeah. Tell us, what about you?
I think once we get into the nitty gritty, Kale and I are going to agree on what we like about the episode. I do feel like this is just one of those run of the mill, like we need to thin this cast out a little bit more type of episodes. Like nothing surprising in Tribal as far as I'm concerned. I know that
but listen,
back and forth.
There's episodes to what you're saying right now. There's episodes like that are just so incredibly boring. And they transitioned this into something that was tremendously fun and built out story arcs now that
character development.
Character development and different intricacies between the characters that's going to be fantastic.
No, and I totally agree with you there. I'm just saying, like, if we're focused on outcome, like this was sort of like just one of the ones that's, I mean, to put it into context, like last season, the NECA of that season was Mariah, the mom on what was it, Vati? Was that with Jonathan Taku? Yeah. So and she was the third person to go home, and then this time we have NECA, third person to go home. I mean, it's like the same thing. Very similar characters, very similar archetypes, very similar way that they played the game, and they went home in the same fashion. You know what I mean?
Well,
so it's like
it's funny because it's the Survivor in the way that there's no tribe swaps right now, and they're sticking to their immediate tribes. That same Taku tribe lost Jackson on day one, was already weak, said they don't want to be going at it. That was a challenge that they inexcusably lost. I'm pretty sure they just botched the puzzle because Omer was horrible on the puzzle.
No, it was the blindfolded
thing, the key.
No, that they lost. The one that they lost, where they lost Mariah, was the blindfolded one, where they had to guide, and Jonathan was the one telling Omer how to do the puzzle. Yeah, that's the only way they lose. Remember, we were talking like that's the only way they lose is if they have a non-physical thing that Jonathan can't dominate. But
I thought Omer fucked something up tremendously as well. I don't know, but either way.
It's the same thing. They mirror one another.
And it's funny, but that's what we said. We said, we got to get a little, try to stay away from the fact that 41 and 42 had some mirrorings and the way it unfolded tremendously towards the end. We don't need that repetition because, again, what makes Survivor great is the craziness and different things that happen. So it's a little scary that you point that out.
Yeah, but I don't think this is that crazy of an overlap here. Like we know we're early in the game, you know what I mean? Like we know not huge challenge people aren't typically the people who go home here. People, especially if they're going to Tribal for the second time, like they're, the hackles are up. They're like, we can't keep coming back here.
Yeah. I don't mean to take away from it. I don't mean to be like, it's so predictable. I'm just saying, like, it is interesting that the same archetype character went home in the same episode or in the same placement last season for the same reasons, and it was just the same kind of thing. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, I enjoyed the episode, and I think that there are a lot of cool things.
There was a ton of great stuff, and I think before we get into that stuff, I want to really quickly talk about, from my perspective, I was a little surprised at. I know we got some clips of Jesse, really struggling with the idea of voting for NECA here. But like, if I'm Jesse and Cody, I really don't want to vote NECA off here. I know that she's not great in challenges, but like that's really tough to go from a majority alliance to a 2v2. That's tough.
You're discounting how these tribes come out when it comes to merge time. They do unify a lot of the time when it comes to merge time.
Yeah,
we saw what Noelle did in the island in terms of lending information, and everything. But this was a bonding in like a unified vote like this is a very big bonding event for the four of them, and that's what happened with
it's just if they go back again, like what you're.
Yeah,
like
but
that's the point. You got to make it so that you don't go back again.
NECA was really bad back to back.
I know, but I guess
out again.
Yeah. No, it's not great. I mean, like you gotta get her off those puzzles.
Yeah,
I don't know that she's not any better in the physical too, but
you gotta get her off the island apparently. But to contextualize to contextualize it, like the reason why we have such a we don't have a full understanding of the lines that are drawn at Coco, because we haven't seen them at Tribal. So a lot of this early scheming and a 3 versus 2 and maybe a 2 versus 2 now situation that we see on Vessi is all circumstance related to Tribal Council. So maybe if they can get themselves farther away from that place, they'll start to be a lot more unified as a team. I don't think that I don't think that anything's been done that can't be undone for this
I know.
Before.
Well, I'm worried that there is though, because I don't foresee the way Dwight is reacting to Jesse's vote from last week. I don't foresee Dwight ever really being close with Jesse.
I disagree.
Dude, I mean, the fact that he can't even hold it in.
You didn't like Dwight from the start to begin with.
Well, yeah, but
I know.
that has nothing to do with the fact. But Kale, do you agree or disagree that the right move, if you're Dwight here this week, is to suck it up and go to Jesse and be like, "Hey, man, totally understand. Like, no worries." Even if you hold that, like he was so obviously upset with Jesse.
No, I totally disagree. Rewind back the clip, and he said Jesse was the one, and they put it in the preview last week that it looked like it was going to be Jesse versus Dwight tremendously. Jesse's clip was a little bit more saying, I really don't appreciate the Dwight. Like Dwight has to get onto my page.
Dude,
Dwight said in his confessional, he didn't really mind. He's like, listen,
that's not true at all. He said Jesse betrayed me last week. He said those words.
And he said, I understand. He said, I understand that. If you rewind it back, I'm telling you, rewind
maybe
the
I
clip
missed
back.
that, but what I watched was him saying, Jesse betrayed me. I don't know if I can trust him for this vote.
Yes, he said that multiple times because that's just a pure fact. But he said, I understand why he did it. And I will go back to him for this vote.
I mean, I'd love to see that clip because I missed it.
And they all did do it.
No, they all did do it. And this is another thing where, like, I don't love that they keep cutting out, like, the conversation.
Well, they almost have to.
They clearly had I know it makes it so obvious, but, like,
Yeah.
in the past, I feel like they've done stuff where, like, they'll show both sides and then be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But, like...
I know, but you said this last week. It might be true to the same thing, that it's just pure as day.
I mean, that's what I said to Toast. Me and Toast watched together, like... That's what I said. I was like, it's probably just so straightforward. You just can't show it. That's the same reason they didn't show people writing down names, because you can't show anything at that point.
But in this case, it was particularly egregious because like we knew that Noelle had an advantage, that if she were actually 5 out of 10 confident with the plan, right, she would, which she was probably just selling to make NECA feel okay. But regardless, she would play that thing right now. I know you want to hang on to it, but if she really thought like, oh, it's going to be, I'm going to go home in a 3-2 right now, then she would play it. And the fact that she didn't play it in this case, you can argue that whole scenario might happen if somebody is not aware. But Noelle, the entire episode, has been saying how aware she is that she's potentially on the bottom. Right. So the fact that she didn't play it means that some conversation happened that we didn't hear.
Was certain.
Yeah, because if you're about to go home, just use the advantage, right? Why not? I mean, change the game. But it wasn't that. And so we know she was confident. We know she was able to trust Jesse.
That led to the idea that they just couldn't show anything, because then it would have been way too obvious.
I mean, they got to work on that a little bit. I mean, strength versus loyalty.
I guess.
The whole,
I mean, maybe they just don't want to fudge it as much And like I'm okay with that too. Like I don't like the idea of them trying to make that look
I
less.
have-
No, but
I have
but a
zero
conversation
complaints.
happened. A conversation happened.
So wait, are you guys really hung up
Clearly.
on the vote piece of the puzzle? Because I really think
No,
that
I'm not.
there's always episodes like this where
No.
that these votes are going to happen. And I think they did
We're
a
just kind of
really
talking
great job.
about. I think they did the best they could. I guess I just don't love the very clear cutting out of a conversation that very clearly happened.
Yeah.
I
So I
understand.
guess
I think that's all we're saying.
if I had to like boil it down to two different facts, one, somebody who we knew would not go far in the game went home. Not that much of a
Yeah.
surprise for us.
Yeah.
Is one downside to the episode, but not really related to how well it was.
Yeah, but those are
scripted.
better earlier in the game.
And
anyways.
two, I agree. Get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Two is that the way that we were shown the dichotomy of NECA versus Noelle, we know for a fact that information was kept from us to make it a little bit more of to get us to bridge the gap between what our understanding is before they go to tribal and then what happens at tribal. Like this has been happening recently in Survivor, which I'm a little frustrated with, is just that there are conversations and they don't have, and it really could just be this thing that we're talking about where it's just like, okay, that's the deal, shake hands. But like, even that would be a little bit more interesting because then maybe they go back on that. We don't know. But in reality, we're being told a story that is contiguous through camp life up until tribal. And then all of a sudden there's a different thing that everybody somehow knows about. Why do we not know about it as the viewer?
I understand. And the biggest example of this is really the lack of story arc, if you want to dial it back from season 41 with Erica, because we just weren't shown early game conversations that she had with Heather. We weren't shown conversations that she had with Ricard to make Ricard feel like she played such a good game and this and that. I'm with you. We're missing conversation which lacks context to what's happening.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
the other piece of the puzzle is that, to me, like, finally, what I'm the most excited about is that now we have the first instance with the Karla situation. I guess we can get into that now too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finally,
I mean,
and a
that's the bulk of
secret
it.
idol is back in the game that
Yeah.
only
Well,
one
I thought-
person knows about.
I mean, it's crazy that we followed Karla for what 20 minutes, 15 minutes. She got
It
such
felt
a
like
big
it.
chunk of the episode. I mean, it was really exciting to watch.
It was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I love because
I mean-
we really got the whole thing too. It was
The
she
whole
found
gambit.
the beware. She decided not to do it. Then she leaves, and then she comes back, and then she grabs
you maybe
it.
could have cut that whole thing. You
No,
maybe
but
could've
I
cut
like
the
that
first
too.
one.
I like that too.
What
I
it-
liked we got to see the whole process of her dealing with this beware. We got to see all of it. It wasn't just skipping right to I'm taking this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I like
even
the collection of the
even
beads.
further,
You gave me more
And
context
she got
into
some
the brain
time.
of Karla.
She got some time versus Cody.
Yes.
You know?
yeah.
Yes.
Well, for us, it's ask and you shall receive. Last week, we were like, the problem here is that this is a great idea,
Yesterday,
but
Survivor's on the brain for you heavy.
I know, thinking about it all the time. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that we were like, this is such a good idea. It sucks that the circumstance was not really there for it, where we Cody had to reach out to get help because tribal was imminent. And in
Yeah.
this scenario, Karla could sit with it. But I think that the real point of this, the fact that we heard from Karla from when commercial break stopped till when commercial break started again, is that she was telling us her story, her mindset. That phase in this episode was dictated by her. We know what her motivations are. We know what her background is and how it relates to her decision making. We know that she was a little insecure, a little bit nervous. She didn't take the risk the first time. She wanted to play on that same I guess, feeling and emotions. And then she turns back, grabs it again, like we said, and totally has this 180 flip where now she's like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to give myself the shot. And then she executes. And we get all of her
she
thought
executed
process.
so well on that. I mean,
Yeah.
we were talking about this, like the fact that she had people thanking her for taking.
Yeah,
their
Ryan's like,
beads
thank you, Karla.
was so
Yeah.
good.
It's
so good.
And the idea of
No,
like
but it's
trading
great.
stuff with them and like she's making them
Yes.
feel like she's doing something for them as well.
Yes.
Like such a great execution. I mean, it was a great episode for Karla. Incredible
Yeah.
episode for her. She got a ton of screen time. We got to know her as a character. Like she's somebody I'm really excited about to continue watch play this game.
100%. And but my biggest thing, you guys know what it is. A secret idol is in the game as we speak that no one knows about. The last time we had it was Drea, and she gave it up. So let's not have it happen this time.
No, but something I do want to talk about with you, Kale, that I think is interesting here is, and I know how much you love these secret idols, but I think we also got a really great example in this episode, and it hasn't come to fruition yet. I mean, we don't know the ending, but we got a really good example of what can be done with publicly known information as well, with the whole Gabler stuff.
All right. Well, are we diving into that right now?
I like the Gabler story. I just want to get. Yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I just want to get a couple of licks in on the Karla story here, if that's okay. Just because I really enjoyed that aspect of the episode. For me personally, that was like the highlight of the episode. One thing I just wanted to point out is that, like, if you look at it a little meta, like the producers who put this beware advantage in, right? And it didn't really work with Cody, right? And now it works with Karla. No wonder they gave it 20 minutes long, because she did the thing that everyone wanted, that we were hoping would happen. What they were hoping would happen, where one person individually keeps this thing secret, comes up with this entire play. I mean, it really is sick if you think about it, like that they're thanking her for giving her an idol that
it's crazy.
she could
let's
use
be clear.
against them.
She's the only person thus far with any
You've always been a sick puppy. Like you were probably pretty excited when that was happening. Yeah, you were
Toast
probably
was loving it. He was loving it. He was loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's be clear. She's the only one with any real winner moment so far. We're only 3 episodes in, obviously, but like nobody else has anything. Nobody else has anything to compare to that edit-wise. Kale, I think you could admit that.
No, but that's no.
Kale wants to say that Cassidy had a confessional earlier in the episode.
Cassidy did
First
nothing.
of all, she did. Let's just be real.
Oh, what she did?
I
What she
didn't
did
say she
today, Kale?
didn't.
Tell
I
me
said
what
she
did.
did.
Regale to me what she did today.
Hold on.
She had a nothing episode.
The moment is more to what you're talking about. The producers having a victory lap because they made the idol do or the advantage do what they wanted.
Yeah.
Anybody could have gotten it. It would have been the same edit. I don't think that was winner's edit at all.
But really?
I
think that was great.
Not at all.
Wait, for the record.
Here we go. You're going down the mic path. Let's go.
I'm not going
ready.
down the mic path, but
the yellow brick road.
I want to point out the fact that you and I disagreed about where the power where the power is in the Coco tribe. When I said that,
are you claiming Karla has the power?
When I was, I 100% am. Karla.
This has nothing to do with
How
other
is
than
there-
her. Other than her having the idol, she has no power. I'm concerned that she'll use it in a good manner.
The story of the Coco tribe is being told through Karla. She's the only
for this one item. That's it.
No, it happened last episode
but
too.
She was the middleman last episode too. When you were like, I disagree that it doesn't show that she's powerful. It was just her telling the story. But she is narratively in control of what we see on the Coco tribe. There's no other person on that beach that is telling us strategy.
She went to the island thing and she found the idol. You don't think they're gonna work her into the early game confessional count?
No, I get that situationally she needs to be shown.
Even the island thing, though, you can tell that from somebody else's perspective.
No,
like
no, not if she goes to the island.
No, but afterwards, when she gets back and other people are talking about her going to the island, instead we see her talking about the island still. Like we're still seeing it from her perspective. Whereas the other,
but you also have to put these two together. It's also the advantage. They know the advantage is coming in episode 3.
Well, okay, but how much of Owen did we see after he got back from the island? 0. But it doesn't matter. That's the point, is that I understand contextually, they have to talk about how she found this thing. I totally am there. But it's not just that she found this thing. She's also telling what is happening with the tribe. She's going up to James and probing James.
With the idol. You guys are reading way too much into
too,
this.
I don't think, and
I'm not saying she's the winner.
For Toast. Yeah, we're not saying like, Karla's absolutely the winner right now.
Last season, he said Mike was the winner when he went down.
That was Kale. Come on, that was the last like 4 weeks of the show.
No. He said that.
I was there. I was there earlier, but it's okay.
That's bad. But Kale, I think all I'm saying, at least from my side, all I'm saying is, she's got the only big stuff like that. That's been the biggest thing so far, is what I'm saying.
On her entire tribe, she's the only person who's telling us about her own motivations, other people's potential motivations, how she fits in on the middle. She's the only person telling stories on the Coco tribe. There's nobody else in the Coco tribe where you're like, okay, this gives me a good idea of what tribe life is like. There's nothing else.
I understand that, but it's contextually because of these two advantages that she was a part of. If you go back to the other seasons where was it Luvu?
Where Erica
in 41?
was?
Yeah. When they had no screen time because there was no advantages, there was no nothing, they didn't show them.
Yeah.
There's advantages that they have to show the context of the advantages.
And they didn't have to go to tribal, but I'm just saying that the only thing we know about Coco is through Karla. That's it.
I just think it's circumstantial.
She was the middle person last. She was the middle person last episode. She was working between the James plus the girl alliance and then the Gio Ryan alliance. She was illustrating to us what everybody's motivations were then. Now she has this episode where she's in the middle again and she's working with James, working through James, being like, if you saw it, would you grab it? And he's like, I don't know, would you? And then she comes up with her decision.
Let me ask you this question. They go to tribal council, and they lose immunity, they go to tribal council next vote. Who's the power player leading the votes on this tribe?
It's not about who's the one who's saying the things. It's about the fact that Karla is in the middle.
Who's the leader? Who I'm saying, but you have to in this game you have to have the ability to do things. Karla has not shown a what?
Wait,
not
but
right now.
Well, how could you be taking away from anything Karla's done? She's played great so far.
I'm not saying she has. I'm actually excited for her prospects. The way she orchestrated the beads, I'm happy for her in that sense.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I think the smaller tea leaves I've seen from James, Lindsay, and there hasn't really been much.
Dude, James is sitting around.
Such a bad episode for James.
James is just sitting around.
Is chilling. He's just lounging.
He gave up a.
Dude, James has done. You can't argue anything. James hasn't done anything.
He gave up the risk. He gave up the risk thing with Owen.
You think that was a good or a bad thing?
It's a nothing. It's a nothing.
See, but you're throwing out. They didn't show a lot of it because the bulk of it was on the Vessi tribe. But the reason they did that.
Are you saying that James
built goodwill with? And he had the last moment. He said, "Listen, she's going to take out a power player."
But
she was hoping that she would take out the Jessies of the world.
I get that, but are you comparing the two? Because we have much more from Karla than we do from James.
Only because of these advantages.
I disagree.
Listen. You can get mad at me for reading.
I'm not mad. I'm clearly not mad. I'm just saying.
You're fuming. You're fucking fuming.
I'm saying we have Cassidy and Lindsay who are tied at 0.5 confessionals apiece.
That's also not true.
We don't know what they're doing as much.
Ryan and Gio have less confessionals than they do.
Ryan has fewer, definitely, and then I think that Gio is probably more.
No, Gio had one last week. Cassidy's had one per episode.
I just think that the point of the matter is that we've seen more of Karla than any other person on this tribe, and we are getting the stories from her.
I understand.
We're learning about their tribe through her.
We didn't get any stories from Luvu. We didn't get one story from Erica. The entirety of that. It's only reason.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
it was
come on.
horrible.
They know
that's
that
not
people
good
hated that, though.
Yeah, that's not good.
I just think it's circumstantial. They
had that whole contrived thing where they were going to throw the tribal, and then they were going to throw the challenge, and then they were going to. That was a whole episode thing with them because they didn't do anything.
You could say Deshaun gave the most in that pre-merge for that tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then he did not.
And he came in second. Well, he came in second.
I understand that. I understand that. But
regardless,
you say his game was shit.
I do think it was.
He fell off at the end. I just don't know how you're arguing that like James.
Yeah, it's no one but her.
You like James better than Karla.
I guess my point is
that
my point. It's not insane. My point is that what you guys are reading from Karla is so minuscule that I'm telling you from my perspective, you can read the same shit from any of them on the tribe.
Why did they go?
There's so much less evidence for James. There's so much less evidence.
But
Cody
what I'm saying is the evidence that you're
beads.
claiming is evidence is not evidence. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, Cody found the beads, went to Jesse, got the whole thing done. We didn't get any motivation aspect of it for Cody. He was just like, shit, I got to do this now. I have like 2 seconds to get this done. I'm going to go to Jesse. I'm going to get it done. Here we got Karla debating whether or not she's a risk taker and what her wife would think about it. And she's on Survivor once. She needs to like take the risk. She then goes back. We have her entire mindset. She's telling a long-winded story and then ends up executing the job to perfection. So I don't know how you can be like, oh, it's just because she found the thing. They could have just shown her finding the thing. I
want to get to the Baka tribe, but I'll leave this as my last point. We just discussed how literally you couldn't really take anything from what was going on pre-tribal from Vessi. They needed to fill time on this episode. It was an advantage that now is finally they have something that's secret. That's literally all. I'm not reading as much as you guys are into.
But then you can't read into anyone else on that tribe.
Hey, fine. Be mad at me for that. Fine. But that's my point, is that I'm reading. I can go read the same amount is what I'm saying.
Kale still thinks Cassidy's running that tribe. Kale 100% thinks Cassidy's running that tribe.
I think Simi mentioned Gabler's name 20 minutes ago.
Let's move. Okay, so this is something I wanted to talk about. I want to rile Kale up again.
Why? He's already riled. He's already there.
Keep him riled. He's like a dog that you just can't control.
Let's get to the bucking Bronco himself.
Look, I know you love. Secret advantages, and I agree with you. To start, I want to be clear. But I think we got a really great example of really fun stuff that can come from really known advantages as well. When we saw what happened on that Baka tribe, I think that was a really fun moment when they're trying to figure out if Gabler's idol, if he knows that it still works, and then Sammy playing those two sides, like that was so much fun to watch.
Two things. That is an advantage that's a short-term advantage. So it can only be used for these two Gabler tribal councils. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because there's not any longevity on this advantage anyway. So let that be a public thing. I'm all good with that. Secondly, I love what's happening on this Baka tribe. I think you have.
It's the most fun to watch.
I think you have 4 power players and a massive catalyst bucking Bronco, bucking around, literally going nuts, and they're all circling Gabler because they're waiting for his moves. But you have 4 very smart individuals. I'm loving what I'm seeing from all of them. Obviously, Ellie had a poor episode because she was being made to be the fool this episode because they were all playing her. But she's still super smart. Even how she orchestrated how she was going to go about it, it's great to follow.
I like how she brought it up too. I like how she brought it up where she just goes. I just want to say really quickly, like when she brings it up to Gabler, she goes, I was looking at those shells on the beach. Like the one that's on your idol.
like the one that your idol came in the case, right? Yeah, like that one that you got, that idol that's no longer real. But
watching the other people who knew about it is so much fun because they're just like, oh, this is so not subtle when you knew what was going on.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of Survivor too, is that like really good moves potentially can turn into really dumb and cringy moments if something gets in the way. And the thing is that the only thing that changed, it was nothing on Ellie's part that changed. It was that Sammy stepped out and said to Gabler, "Hey, they're playing you." So we get the first rendition of this where Ellie is saying, "I'm going to ask these questions," and I know for myself that I was like, "This is pretty cool." Like if she like incepts this idea that this idol is no longer real and he just decides not to look at the parchment again, that would be really cool. I mean, I even said like, what if she convinces him to like leave it at home or something, leave it at the camp, like little things like that. That's really cool.
What if she convinces him to eat it?
Yeah, maybe it could be anything.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So we get
starving.
that. We get that smart.
Starving. The guy is
struggling. He's struggling a little bit.
We get that smart look from Ellie where it's like, this is a cool idea, and then it turns to the execution, and even though she's just doing the thing that she already told us that she was going to do, us now having more information are like, god damn, like please don't say this, like, because we know that it's the gig is up, you know what I mean, like jig is up. So it's like,
you know what I immediately thought of while you were saying that, Toast, is the move by who was it, JT giving away his
idol to Russell,
Where like if that worked, that would have been such a sick move. But Russell just played him and was like, "Yeah, I'm totally on the bottom." You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And then to us, it's like, "Oh, what an idiot!" But it's like that actually could have been a really sick move.
It could have been a sick move.
And in the same way, here, obviously, this isn't as explosive, but like still very similar thing.
A more recent example is Adam in Winners at War walking up to the podium trying to play the fleur-de-lis as an idol. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so cringy. What is he doing? This is ridiculous. But if that thing was an idol, that would be one of the sickest plays that we've ever seen in Survivor. It would be like unreal. No one's thought of this, and he would have done it. But it's just like, I guess contextually, it's interesting to see that sometimes when moves are really cool and then one thing changes, it looks really dumb and kind of cringy.
No, totally. I thought Ellie's move was great. It just happened to not work out with her because of the guys' kind of alliance that's getting created.
And Kel, you're right that she was on the receiving end of this interaction. Like you're right that she was viewed as bad because we were getting it from Gabler and Sammy's perspective.
Well, no, that's my thing too. What's so perfect, what's unfolding here is that Gabler is the catalyst for all this. While I know he had a whole speech that he was on the smart side, which I do believe he's not some dumb brick. I think he is smart, but he clearly is having some struggles. One and two, I do think the other four might be a little bit smarter in terms of the game itself of Survivor. I do think all four of those of those other members of the Baka tribes. I'm just picturing it and surrounding Gabler, and they're all maneuvering, making moves. It's fantastic when it's unfolding.
I did like too.
I really like Sammy. I like
Sammy too.
I think it was another great episode for Sammy. I think it was another really great episode for Sammy. I like that we got to see that Gabler could keep it together a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if he was a, I don't think that Brad could have pulled that off. I think Brad would have freaked out and done something stupid.
I agree.
So I like that we saw that as well. I thought that was great. I thought it was a sick episode. I'm liking Sammy more and more every episode. But I agree with you, Cal. I think all four of these people on this tribe are very smart.
Yeah,
I would love to see if those four could make it to the merge, the crazy shit that would go on with them four as like a team, like trying to fuck up other people, or even them splitting off and trying to create their own little alliances. I would love if all four of them made it to the merge.
Totally. One little aspect of that goes under the radar. Yeah, with Gabler there, it would be just more. The more the merrier.
Yeah, chaos.
But one thing that goes under the radar is also that Owen got away with murder here because he was part of the group that looked at the parchment
and
through
Sammy
the bag
had no idea.
And didn't know, and now Gabler is focusing all of his energy on the girls, but Owen's now sneaky in the middle here, being like, I know all of this info. Like, I have everyone's perspective here, which is the place you want to be. Like, for the record, you want to be the one who has all the information, and no one suspects you of having all of it.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, I mean, it's
Owen
incredible
came
that
out of
Sammy...
this with a good episode, too.
I think it's incredible that Sammy didn't figure out that Owen was part of the crew that, like, looked in the bag.
Yeah.
Right? That's incredible. I thought another great moment from Owen, I know we talked about James a little bit earlier too, but I like that James and Owen were both, willing to be like, yeah, let's go cause some chaos on the other tribe and let her take this thing.
Owen's perspective, I really liked it. He already had a shit show at his own tribe with the Gabler situation. If he came back and did the same exact thing,
it would have been too much.
What's the point?
Yeah.
It's way too much. He already is in that perfect position that you're talking about. There's no reason for him to take the risk, build goodwill with Noelle, and you get that. Yeah. Okay, maybe James could have done a little bit more, but I do think.
Dude, James has not started playing Survivor yet. That's the problem.
I disagree.
He hasn't had anything.
The only thing he's done is gotten into an alliance where they approached him, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I guess."
Sure,
fine. I still think that's a good spot. We talked about this last episode.
But the only thing is that, like, if Owen is saying it, look, picture everybody's motivations here. If Owen's gonna say, "Listen, I don't want this thing. I'll give it to you, Noelle," right? And you now, as James, you have leverage over Noelle. Noelle needs her vote tonight. That's a disparity between the two parties playing. There's no difference between Owen and James because they don't have to go to tribal right now, and Noelle does. So there's a difference in the playing field here. And if you can leverage the fact that Noelle should not be risking her vote, then you can say, Noelle, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to risk it right now. Owen doesn't want it.
Yeah, but
It's
you
gonna
give
be
him
me
no
and you.
credence for playing the long game here? You give him no credence for that?
But what's the long game? Noelle might be gone next episode. Same with Owen. It's like this is.
But you know that she has a better chance of not being gone by giving her this, and you have goodwill.
But goodwill is like not that big of a deal because in reality we haven't seen. We haven't seen one of these ship wheel island alliances happen. If anything, we've seen where there's
Liana Shan.
That's the only one. The other ones have all been against one another. Evie and Deshawn were against one another. Tiffany and Sydney actually disliked each other on the
I
retreat.
forgot that Tiffany went on that.
Those are two powerful things.
But then they actually ended up liking each other when they actually met at the merge. So it's like there's no. I'm just saying there's no relationship between the trip and the outcome after the trip.
I don't think you needed to invoke that said leverage. I get what you're saying. You're right.
Omar did not like Chanel.
No, yeah,
Omar didn't like Chanel.
And I agree with Kale here. Like, I don't think, like, just because he didn't pull out that leverage, I don't think that is, like, a bad mark on his part. I think my thing with James is that he just hasn't...
He's not doing anything. That's what I'm saying. So that's an opportunity to do something is exactly what I'm trying to point out.
You just haven't seen him doing anything yet. They're probably doing stuff. The fact
I understand,
that he got paraded, they all were giving him shit for his birthday. He's clearly their friend, and they like him a lot.
They haven't done anything. They haven't had to do anything.
Been good with each other.
No,
meanwhile, Karla's out there
I think
grinding.
Ryan and Gio are on the outs in that trend.
Karla is out there grinding.
Karla is out there grinding and doing shit. It's true. James is doing nothing. He's sitting there.
I did like that we saw, I know we're kind of jumping around tribes all over the place, but I did appreciate that we got a little bit more agency from Noelle this episode, because I felt like in the first 2 weeks, she was very passive, just kind of hanging out with Justine. And I did appreciate that Noelle, especially even on the island, she was like, yeah, guys, look, I'm at the bottom here. I need to do my stuff. Like, she was trying to make moves, and I appreciated that from Noelle, at least. I thought she was a little bit less passive.
I like Noelle as a character. I've been saying that.
I mean, the last 2 weeks she's been a little... I just kind of I saw her as kind of a hanger-on for
she Justine. Did have a good episode this week.
That was more Justine was more that realm. I'm going to bounce one more...
You thought Justine was a hanger-on to Noelle?
Yes, that was our contrasting in the first episode. I thought Justine was the and Noelle was more
watching
of
a different show than us.
Yeah, I know. He's doing a different show too.
Dude, Justine was the only one like talking to other people. Noelle was just like on Justine's side.
No, I totally disagree.
We saw like 8 clips of Justine going to different people on her. She was talking to Dwight,
and she
was talking
everything.
To Jesse.
And she
That's not the
everything.
point. That's not the argument.
That is the point. Noelle didn't botch anything. That's my point.
Oh, oh my God! No.
You're arguing a different point now. We all are arguing a different point. Yeah, points. It's like and then it gets out of hand. That's ridiculous. That's how it happens.
Ridiculous. Talking nonsense. You're talking nonsense. Kale does this thing. Kale, you always do this thing where you like attribute seeing nothing from somebody, and in your head they just become this incredible player. Like we've seen basically before this episode, basically nothing from Noelle. We've seen basically nothing from Cassidy. And you're like in your head, we've seen basically nothing from James since like the first 10 minutes of the first episode. And you're like equating like these incredible ways.
Meanwhile, Karla is doing things that have never been done in the game before. Doing things.
It's
your favorite thing, Kale. It's your favorite thing that you said that she.
What do you want to do right now?
Shit up in your head.
Cassie and James, when this season is said and done and over with, will have been more. We will all consider those two better characters or better players than
pick one of them. Pick one of them just for probability's sake, and I'll take it.
If you pick James, I'll take that bet all day.
Take it. I'll take it.
I'm gonna take Cassidy. I'm gonna take
Cassidy. Yeah. I'm taking Karla.
Okay. Better player from the general public. Cassidy will be viewed as a better player.
You can whatever you want to say, but Karla is making it farther in the game. Whether that be that she's a good player,
not making it farther. That we will consider a better player. That's what I'm saying.
I think
but
Karla.
Kale, you're never going to
Okay, that's
concede
fine,
that
that's
though,
fine.
Kale. Like you
Yes,
don't.
I will. I
you don't
will
concede those things.
100%.
Who's the better player
will
right now?
100%.
Who's playing Survivor better right now?
Kale thinks
You cannot
that
make that
Cassidy
determination.
is playing Survivor
No,
better.
you cannot
What are
make
you
that determination.
Why? She has an idol that nobody knows about. That's exactly what you're saying is amazing.
She
love that
has
shit.
power. She has power. She has
So
shown nothing that
she-
she'll be able to lead a vote that will it will
Kale,
matter.
I don't think you need to
there
lead a
hasn't
vote.
been a vote. There hasn't been a vote. But regardless,
I know. So we have
but-
no info.
But she's at least using her social skills to get people to thank her for giving her the.
Listen. I give her
So
credit
how
for
is she
that.
not already
100%.
proven to be a better Survivor
I'm
player?
saying because it's not proven to be a better Survivor player.
Because just like doing like good Survivor things doesn't count. Like what?
I don't
what
think
is the
that's good
argument?
Survivor. That shows that she has a social technique to her. But Survivor is leading
is-
vote. The best thing in Survivor you can do is leading a vote and controlling
you,
people.
But
to
you
go
don't
to,
have you don't
your
have any
favorite
evidence
player of all
that
time is
Cassidy
Boston
can.
Rob. Your favorite player of all time is Boston Rob, who is one of the greatest players of all time because
This is
he can
another
lead
Kale
people.
argument. This is another
there's
Kale
no Kale-
argument.
there's
There
no Kale
hasn't
argument
been
at all.
Cassidy hasn't led a vote either because there's been
I
no
know.
votes.
I just said you can't choose right now. That's what I'm saying. You cannot
But
make a
Karla's done
determination.
so much more.
Yeah, but
She hasn't done anything that matters. That's my point.
Kale, I want to be clear though. You are currently choosing. You just made a bet that one person is better than another person.
Cassidy will do more.
You believe that Cassidy is a better Survivor player.
So
you are choosing.
I don't think
What the fuck
Karla
are you
is.
talking
Thank
about?
you.
I'm saying I don't think Karla's going to be capable to lead votes. That's what I'm saying.
So
from what
you
I
think? So let's be clear. Do you agree or disagree that you believe that Cassidy is a better Survivor player than Karla?
I just told you. I think Cassidy will be the better Survivor player
Based
of
on
this
so
season.
So
what?
you believe
Based
that you
on
can't
what?
make that
You're not listening.
decision right
I've
now.
seen bad stuff from Karla that I haven't seen from
There's
Cassidy.
been
That's what I'm
zero
saying.
bad.
That's-
She hasn't had a.
Yes, she has. She said she's unsure of herself. She didn't take the first risk because she was
but
unsure
then
of
she.
herself at the island.
But then she changed her mind and did the thing.
On this, I'm saying that was a good, but I've also seen bad. That's what I'm saying. That's my opinion. That's all I'm
actually
saying.
just can't believe that we have evidence.
No. Here's a very important thing though for me, Kale, is that just because she said she has doubts doesn't make that bad. I think there are plenty of bad Survivor players who never question themselves, who are supremely
I said
confident.
Simi.
who
I
are
was
bad
saying it. I
Survivor
think
players.
that she's
I'm not-
humble
so
to
what
an
are you
extent
I'm
that
saying
makes
it's
her.
my instinct is that from what I can read from Karla is that she will not be able to lead votes.
Okay, so
Okay,
folks
but
at home,
I also disagree
it's
that-
Kale's
that-
instincts versus what we've actually seen on the TV. Pick and choose. Which one do you want? You want Kale's
my instinct
instincts?
from what I've seen.
Okay, but also Kale, like
You've seen nothing.
I've seen
seen
her
nothing-
saying she's unsure of herself. That's what she
votes-
said.
Yeah,
But she's
so is
growing as it
Marianne.
happens. Yeah.
What?
Marianne's whole thing at the end of the season was how unsure of herself she was. She almost
I understand that, but
self-sabotaged
we
herself by keeping Lindsay in. So what are we talking about?
We also can say that she found her better strength was being able to find the advantage, one, and then circumstantially she was able to utilize it.
This is how it gets out of hand. Right now, we have two things. We have Cassidy versus Karla. There's no evidence that either
And
of
by
them
the way,
can
who
lead-
is a better? Who would you go
I'm
and say
in
is
the
a better
middle of
Survivor
talking.
player?
I'm in the
Omer
middle
or
of finishing
Marianne?
it.
Omer or
I'm in-
Marianne?
Omer. I'm in the middle of finishing this. We have two things, but we saw so much from Omer, and we also saw so much from Marianne. We have
saw it all from
no
Omer
evidence
around
right
the
now.
merge time.
We have no evidence right now of either of them. But we do have evidence that Karla can use social skills to gain what she wants, and she's out there willing to go do something. We've seen James sit his ass on the beach with a crown on his head for 3 episodes now. We have no evidence that he can do anything. We have no evidence from Cassidy that she can do anything. But
I'll
what we do
seal the-
have evidence for
I'll
is that
seal the deal
Karla
on
is
my
going to
argument.
go.
The fact that they're praising him on his birthday and giving him a crown, I view that as evidence. You can view that
Dude,
as
they
nothing.
would have done that for
I view that
anybody's
as
birthday.
evidence.
Yes,
No, I
thank
disagree.
you.
That's not true. I don't think they do that for Ryan and Gio. He's on the outside. I don't think they do that.
We
That's
don't
my
know where
point.
they are right now. They haven't
Okay,
done
fine,
anything.
but that's fine. They you've only seen the Karla stuff because she has this advantage.
I totally disagree.
Because she's doing shit.
She's doing shit.
Listen, I'm making the bet. I think Cassidy will end up being a better player.
But
what do you want
can
to bet?
you just say that? Can you just say that it's not based on what you've seen on the show?
It is based on what I've seen from Karla.
It's just like no, it's Kale's. Kale's delusion. It's Kale's inner monologue.
I said,
but there's
Karla's
been nothing
unsure of herself in all. She's had the most confessionals. I've seen bad stuff in the confessionals too.
But we've already talked about how Karla is coming at it with a little bit of humility. She's willing to question herself, and there's been so much ego and self-confidence that's run pathologically in the past couple seasons.
Can you sit there and say that Karla can lead a vote right now? Yes or no?
You can't say that for any of them. Is what we're trying to say.
I understand that, but I'd rather take the unknown, and then I don't think she can because of what I've seen from Karla. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm betting on. I'm betting on.
Seen good things
Cassidy's
from her.
No,
I just can't believe that Kale's watching the same show as us is like, Karla, bad player.
I didn't say that.
Watching Karla for an entire commercial break.
You're comparing against a player with nothing.
Nothing.
So
again, they didn't show anything of Erica in season 1. In season 41, drop the 4. Here's the 1.
But everyone also complained about that. They changed things.
I understand. You don't know if they've changed things. We'll see.
But
they've changed other variables.
But it sounds like what you're saying to me right now is that like the best thing a Survivor player could do is just not get any edit time.
Is nothing.
That's what you're saying right now.
You're not. I'm saying that you cannot. You literally can't take anything right now. But if your guys are going to take good, I've also seen bad from Karla because she has the most FaceTime. I agree with you.
James has gotten dragged by a snake. He's sat his ass on the beach with the crown, and he's given up a risk versus reward scenario with just out loud saying it. He's done no things.
They also didn't show you more of that conversation, so you have no idea what.
That always is what it is.
Always does this thing though, where he's like, "There's good shit happening that they're not showing you." Like, what do you mean? We're supposed to just make that shit up?
I was proven right, I think, with Drea last season that she clearly was doing a lot right, and they viewed her as one of the best players out there.
No one disagreed with you on that, but
you guys did for weeks.
No. We were disagreeing with you because you were saying that there was like some Machiavellian conversations that you're having that they're not putting in the edit. Like that's it. Just
because they don't need to. She made a bonehead move and she lost. They don't need to build her up. I
don't think that was true.
Right,
I still don't think that was true.
What Kale says goes. I mean, we could still talk about
what Kale imagines in his head is always real. It's always real.
It's always real.
The shit that Kale
thinking about it.
These delusions that Kale has, they're always correct.
I wish I was infallible too. I wish I could never be wrong.
What do you want to put on this bet? And I will no doubt say if Karla's a better player, I will 100% admit to that. I'll go down the rankings right now. I think Omar was a better player than Drea.
You're delusional, but like, you know.
Omar was a better player than Drea. If I'm delusional, I would say Drea is the best player that would ever live.
I'm actually surprised you did admit that. I am surprised that you said that one out loud. I didn't think
Do you think Drea or Mike was a better player?
In the end, it was Drea.
Thank you. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I would say, who else? Power rank the 3. I don't want to go down a.
I don't need to power rank last season. All I'm saying is that what I'm frustrated with, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, is that I'm making my decision right now based on evidence. And you're saying that you are too, because everything coming out of Karla is bad or contextualized by the fact that she's getting idols.
There's been
but
good
the fact that she's
getting
the fact that she's getting advantages and doing stuff means that she's actually doing things. James is not doing anything. Cassidy's not doing anything from what we see. So that's the evidence.
Circumstantially, because of what's
okay. But Kale, do you agree or disagree that Karla's in a better position
now
than she was last episode?
100%.
Okay. All right. All right, let's leave it at that. I mean,
at least he like watches the episodes.
Should we talk about Vessi a little bit?
You can talk a lot of shit, but you could talk a lot of shit. But I know my Survivor, so you can say what you want. I know my Survivor.
Me? Are you talking to me?
Both you guys.
He's talking to me. He's talking to me.
Both you guys. No, this isn't. But you guys know I know my Survivor.
Okay, yeah, but you're using that as if I don't.
I'm not using that as you don't.
So you're trying to say like agree to disagree? Is that what you're trying to say?
Guys, let's have a fist fight.
Yeah, I'm saying you can't just say that I'm not watching the episode.
Well, I solved this with words, but we can solve this with fists. I don't understand.
I do want to say this. I was on a Survivor high and I really got immersed in the moment.
I know. I think we might have brought you down.
No, yeah, you did. You fucked me. But in the immunity challenge, I was getting hit with all angles of beautiful stuff. Gio looking for the idol. Love that. Love that. Yeah. Love that. Gio took the second to look for that. Love that. Owen was a monster in the water initially to cruise through that. Noelle taking off her leg, being a monster in the water. Love that. Then you had the Ryan versus Cody, and Ryan was a fucking muscling through that. Ellie and Janine killed the puzzle. I was on cloud 9 at a Survivor high during the immunity challenge.
Everything was in tip-top shape.
Everything
Everyone
was
on top form.
I was getting hit all over the place.
Unfortunately, NECA and Jesse just couldn't
NECA was the
quite
outlier.
do that.
No, NECA was bad.
That puzzle. That was a little bit on Jesse though too. I mean, he was also.
No, Jesse didn't look. Jesse looked clueless.
He also sucked on that puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept like looking over too the whole time, like trying to check, like, oh, what are they doing?
I honestly don't even know if I saw NECA move a piece, to be honest.
The problem is that NECA is default the puzzle person because she can't do the swimming thing. It seems.
And that's where they were
or the
on
physical
the vote.
thing. Whatever.
That's where they were
be.
on the vote. That's where they were on the vote.
She's like saying I'm good at puzzles, but in reality, she's only capable of the puzzle. Is the way that it's being portrayed to us.
I think my worry now that NECA's gone is I'm really worried for Jesse on this tribe now. Like if they go back, to me, Jesse's going home. If they go back to tribal,
I don't know who's gonna go back to. I was very impressed by the Baka tribe.
I want to hear
they killed the puzzle, and the Coco tribe just hasn't gone. So you got to assume.
But they're both really good at challenges. Like I know getting rid of NECA is a positive for them. What?
Oh, I want to know why you arrived at that.
If they go back, right? There's 4 people left.
Steal a vote.
But that's what I mean. If they got to steal a vote. Yeah. You know Dwight is voting with Noelle now.
Well, it's a steal a vote, and then Cody also has an idol.
Cody has an idol.
Well, that would paint it into Jesse. No doubt.
I agree. No, I agree. Yeah. I want to hear the thought process.
I think though, if they go back to a vote, I'm imagining it's kind of a 2v2 scenario here, a little bit, right? And I think the problem is like Noelle and Dwight can't really lose. Well, I guess they could. They just don't know who. Like, I don't know. I'm a little sketchy on if Cody would actually play that for Jesse.
I don't think he would.
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm a little doubtful that he would play that. I think, regardless of how it would pan out, I think if they went back, I think Noelle and Dwight are going after Jesse.
Okay, but
that's what I mean.
This is one thing I would say. I just don't really think that this Noelle and Dwight thing, the alliance,
is rock solid.
to spite Jesse for
voting
off Janine.
Agree.
I mean, Justine.
But it's not just that though.
Sorry,
with the J's,
no, wait,
Johnny.
but it's an alliance of anti-alliance with the other people.
It's not just that though. So that relationship started before that. Dwight, the reason he was upset about it in the first place is because he was close with Justine and Noelle.
But he was close with Jesse too.
I agree, but Jesse's the one. But if he's close with both of them, and then Jesse's the one that he's upset with, of course he's going to go to the other side.
I think time heals all wounds here, and I think that it's going to be that.
Sure,
Dwight
but I don't think it's crazy to think that they could easily go back to tribal next week.
No,
the other two tribes are totally great at these challenges.
I don't see a realm where they don't. To be honest with you,
because now you also have to think that other tribes are sitting out 2 people. Other tribes are sitting out 2 people, so you get to sit maybe Karla and Gio out.
You get to sit your 2 weakest people.
You get to sit.
Exactly. So like I think there's a very good chance they go back to tribal next week. I don't see how Jesse pulls Dwight back into his fold.
Good
and
gracious.
Also, I mean, maybe you argue like, hey, we got to keep the strength, and Noelle just happens to be the weakest now left. But like, I don't know. It seemed like Dwight is. To me, I missed that clip that Kale was talking about where it seemed like he wasn't as upset, but like to me, it seemed like Dwight was still pretty upset about that stuff. And we know Noelle. Noelle's not going to work with Jesse. We know that.
Well, they kind of worked together.
But I disagree. They did tonight, Sam.
Yeah, but I would argue that's more Jesse working with her than her working with Jesse. But
she didn't have a choice.
She did. She could have fucked them all.
Well, she could have done whatever she was winning that vote regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's the only one who had a choice, really.
Yeah.
To burn an advantage for no reason.
Well, I mean, I'd pose it to you guys. If those 4 go back to tribal, who do you think is in the most danger?
I 100% agree with you, Sam. Jesse's in trouble. I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm trying to find evidence against it, and I can't. So
to me, he's in a worse position at the end of this than last time.
I agree.
Kale, finally, we found common ground.
Wait, not only does he agree, but he thought of it. and you and
actually,
that's why.
I'm
Can you
disagreeing
stop
with
this?
Kale.
This is blasphemous. This is slander now. This is
Kale,
fucking slander.
we will not stop until the audience hates you.
Clearly.
We're gonna turn
Clearly.
everyone who loves you. We're gonna turn them against you. Your
Clearly.
father,
I'm
your
gonna have
mother,
no fans. I'm gonna
your
have no
brothers.
fans after this.
Kale, you're the favorite.
I'm gonna have no fans.
I think regardless, I think it was a phenomenal episode. I think we got, exciting stuff from all three tribes, which I really liked. Like we all loved the Gabler stuff, and Sammy doing his thing. We got great stuff from Karla and this Beware advantage. We finally have our first hidden advantage, and we had going to tribal. And now we've got an interesting power dynamic in this tribe, whereas before it looked like it was kind of turning into a majority minority. It's like now we've got some real tension here. We've got really exciting stuff from all the tribes. I want to do the little stock report with you guys. Who went up? Who went down? Who you buying? Who you selling? Kale, you hit us first. What's your stock report this week?
All right, so I'm gonna blow your guys' mind. I'm just gonna blow
Karla
your guys'
went
mind.
up. Karla went up.
Karla went up. I agree, but this is where I don't want to blend it. I think she was starting from a down position. I don't think she went up
Kale,
enough.
she your new
I'm not
winner
gonna
pick?
That's my
Is
point.
Karla your new winner pick? You can just admit it. It's fine.
Karla had a great episode. Sammy had a great episode. I really, really, really loved Sammy's episode. I really loved Owen's episode. He put himself in a great position. That's why he was able to make that choice on the Risk Island or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Ellie is in a bad spot now if those three stay together. Stock down on Ellie and stock down on Jesse now because he's painted in a corner with this steal a vote. This steal a vote's going to be a problem.
Yeah, but Ellie is actually valuable in all facets of the game right now. I understand that she has a target painted on her by Gabler, who's a bucking Bronco and is upset now. He's an angry Bronco. But she's invaluable in the puzzles. And she's keeping them from going to tribal council.
I agree. Well,
Sure,
we don't know
sure.
if that's just her or
Justine as well. Or
Janine.
no, Janine. There's so many J names. But like I think if that tribe goes to tribal, personally I think they probably go after Ellie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe not.
There's too much that has to happen. There's too much that
I know.
into that. There's a lot of chaos that would happen.
You just don't want to make predictions out here. This is Toasty no predictions.
I should be more upset about this too. I picked her as my winner.
Let me give my
Toast,
stock report.
Yeah.
So my stock report, first I want to put out Cassidy and James, who started out as neutral for doing nothing and have remained neutral for continuing to do nothing.
Important. That's an important one. Yeah.
So I guess hold, hope to sell, maybe buy, maybe short, maybe just fucking forget about it. But so those are those two. Karla obviously goes up, although
bullshit.
Karla goes up, even though I already had her as up last time. And I think
a rising star.
If we're gonna have this conversation, I think that it might be worth mentioning that Jesse does go down a little bit because he is in a precarious spot. He's given an advantage to somebody who's now one of 4 people that can go home along with you. He did not look good in the puzzle. He was pretty much equally to blame, even though NECA just has a worse track record with the puzzles. So maybe that saved him this time. And he's already burned.
I think Cody could actually play it if they could just lend all the votes, and then it's just the one because they won't know about her steal a vote. They won't know about her steal a vote, but they'll still have one vote. Everybody
in the Vessi tribe is technically down a little bit this week because they are losing fast, and I think that it's high time for Coco to go to tribal. I think we need to get a little bit more from these folks over at Coco.
Think they will.
I would love
Ryan
that to happen. Ryan's a beast.
We need to see something. We need to see something happen.
I know. Well, for me, my stock report, I couldn't agree more with everything you guys said. Sammy's up for me. Karla's up for me. Jesse's a down, like we mentioned. Ellie's a little bit of a down. Worth mentioning, Gabler went up. I'm not saying he's in a good position, but he did go up from where he was. And I think he deserves that. I think he deserves that mention.
He's the most volatile thing you could.
And I love watching
him.
him. I just love watching. He's just a fun guy. He's just an odd fella, and I love that. Well, actually, and before we end here too, winner picks. Did they change? Who's everybody's winner pick right now after this week? Any adjustments there?
I'm dying to hear this.
No, I'm gonna still go with Owen. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
Owen. I like how
but last week it was not Owen.
was it Cassidy?
Yeah.
I still like Cassidy, but
we
Owen
know.
was my winner pick. Owen was my winner pick to start the game.
Preseason.
I
Yeah.
agree.
All right, so
And
you're
I
back
was-
to
I
Owen.
was-
You're
I
back
was
to
there
Owen
with you.
here. You like
Back
that?
to Owen,
Toast.
back to Owen.
Toast. What
Oh,
about
bing
you?
bong, bing bong.
What was yours last week?
Me? I said
Yeah.
Ellie.
Karla.
Ellie. Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay sticking with Ellie. I think that there's enough chaos that she could be. Even though I get that you're saying that she went down. She had a little dodo moment that was like kind of cringy, but it wasn't her fault. It was that Sammy went behind their back. She shouldn't have said it in front of Sammy. I don't know why she did. That was a mistake. If anything, Sammy shouldn't have been in the know on that because they already had Owen involved. And if they really wanted to get rid of Gabler, they didn't need Sammy to begin with.
Yeah, that's
I don't even know why
that's
she
a
said
great
it
point.
to
They
him.
already
That is a
had
great
the three
point.
majority. Just don't
But-
even talk about it then.
But I
don't
think
even
that
talk about
speaks.
it.
I think
So-
that speaks
Well,
to
that
probably the
speaks to
relationship that
Sammy.
Sammy's building.
Sammy.
So-
I agree.
Yep.
Sammy just kind of slipped in there. I think maybe they just underestimated him, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I like Ellie, and I think that she can recover from it. I think there's a lot of chaos on that tribe that, like, if her name's thrown out first, there's plenty of names to come out right after, I think. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay
Sam,
with it.
go with Sammy. Go with Sammy.
I really want to. I
Yes.
really want to. You know, last week, my preseason, and last week it was Ellie. I think for now, I'm gonna keep Ellie, but Sammy is
No,
really.
last week it was Jesse. Last
did I
week it
switch
was
to
Jesse.
Jesse?
for
Oh,
you.
Jesse is dropped for me. It's probably. Well, then if it wasn't Ellie, then I don't know that I need to hold. I like Sammy.
No, you don't.
I really like Sammy.
Ride with it.
I think.
Sim,
Okay,
we
so
can give you the credit. We can give you the credit.
let me say though, my worry with Sammy is that I do worry about his post-merge threat levels. I do think that
I don't know.
I think those threat
a lot
levels
of
will
them
rise a lot for him. I think post merge potentially, but I'd like. I mean, he's been playing great. He's making great relationships. You know, he's playing the other sides when he wants to, when he needs to. I really like his game. I'll put him as my winner pick right now.
Yeah.
I hope he holds. I love watching him. I think it's he's a great player. But other than that, boys, great week of Survivor. Great week talking to you, except for you, Kale. It's never fun talking to you.
I hope everyone is excited to listen to an hour-long argument that has no resolution.
Yeah, we didn't.
Everyone will love that ending.
we didn't
If you
solve
didn't like the
anything.
Survivor ending, this episode, you're gonna love this. Okay, that's basically
Everybody
it.
loves an unresolved argument. But come back next week and maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll grow as people and as friends. And
Anything's
that's
possible.
what this podcast is all about. It's all about friendship. It's all about subscribing. It's all about
smashing that like.
a little bit of too long of a pause. I think next time we'll improve. We'll improve. But like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think. Who's your winner pick right now in week 3? If you're on Apple or Spotify, please rate, review, follow us. Really help the show. And other than that, boys, I'll see you next time.